The segment began like any other heated political debate. Rachel Maddow was pressing hard, her voice rising with each question as she tried to corner Representative Jasmine Crockett on live television. Viewers had seen Maddow get passionate before, but this time, her frustration boiled over. She interrupted, pushed, and demanded answers with a tone that carried more heat than reason. But Jasmine Crockett didn't flinch. She calmly leaned forward, waited for the noise to subside, and with a measured smile, delivered a response so sharp and direct that the entire studio froze. Her words weren't just a rebuttal, they were a clapback that dismantled Maddow's argument in seconds. The audience's reaction was instant. Some gasped, others laughed nervously, and then the flood of online reactions began. Within minutes, clips of Crockett's response spread across social media platforms like wildfire. Headlines started popping up, Crockett silences Maddow, the moment Maddow didn't expect, and asterisk, Jasmine Crockett's clapback shakes up live TV. Asterisk. As the video continued to circulate, it wasn't just political circles paying attention. Late-night hosts replayed the exchange, commentators dissected the power shift, and hashtags praising Crockett's composure trended globally. What started as a heated exchange quickly transformed into a defining viral moment. Rachel Maddow, visibly shaken on camera, tried to steer the discussion back, but the damage was done. Crockett's words had landed with precision, exposing cracks in Maddow's approach. It was a reminder that staying calm under fire can turn the tables in an instant, and that one powerful clapback can change the entire narrative. By the end of the night, Jasmine Crockett wasn't just being discussed, she was being celebrated. For many viewers, the clip symbolized a rare political moment where composure defeated chaos, and clarity triumphed over noise. Rachel Maddow leaned closer to the camera, her tone sharp as she fired off another pointed question. She repeated herself, cutting through her own panel's voices, clearly determined to make Representative Jasmine Crockett stumble. The studio lights glared as Maddow raised her voice, insisting that Crockett face the facts. But Crockett didn't even blink. She folded her hands on the table, her expression steady, almost amused. Instead of rushing to answer, she paused. The silence felt heavier than Maddow's words. The audience waited, sensing that something big was about to happen. And when Crockett finally spoke, her calm voice sliced through the noise. She didn't just respond to Maddow's question, she reframed it entirely, exposing the flaws in Maddow's argument with surgical precision. Maddow blinked, caught off guard, as Crockett's words landed with the weight of truth. The room shifted. Suddenly, Maddow wasn't in control of the conversation anymore. Crockett was. The audience in the studio leaned in, sensing the shift. For the first time that night, Rachel Maddow's trademark confidence wavered. She tried to jump back in, but her voice cracked slightly as Crockett kept her composure, speaking with clarity and conviction. Every word Crockett delivered felt deliberate, like she had been waiting for this very moment. She reminded viewers of the facts Maddow had overlooked, and she did it without raising her voice. The contrast was striking, Maddow's intensity against Crockett's calm precision. Social media viewers clipped the exchange instantly. Comments poured in, Crockett just owned this debate, that's how you handle pressure, and asterisk, Maddow wasn't ready for that clapback. Asterisk. As Maddow shuffled her notes, visibly unsettled, Crockett's calm presence only grew stronger. The power dynamic had flipped in an instant, and everyone watching knew it. Rachel Maddow tried to recover, leaning forward with a sharper tone. Representative Crockett, you're dodging the real issue, she snapped, waving her hand as if to take back control. The tension in the room rose as Maddow pressed harder, her words spilling over each other in frustration. But Crockett didn't flinch. She tilted her head slightly, almost smiling, and then delivered the line that would echo across millions of screens. I'm not dodging the issue, Rachel. I'm exposing it. And if that makes you uncomfortable, maybe it's because the truth isn't on your side tonight. The studio went silent. Even Maddow froze, her hand lingering in the air as the weight of Crockett's words hit. It was the kind of moment that couldn't be scripted, sharp, fearless, and impossible to ignore. The audience gasped, some clapped, and cameras captured Maddow's stunned expression. Within seconds, viewers knew they had just witnessed a viral moment in the making. The silence in the studio didn't last long. As soon as the show cut to a commercial break, clips of Jasmine Crockett's words were already flooding social media. On X and TikTok, her line was replayed over and over, "I'm not dodging the issue, Rachel. I'm exposing it." Viewers tagged it as one of the most fearless comebacks in live TV history. Within minutes, hashtags began trending, #Crockett Clapback, #Maddow Meltdown, and #viral moment. Comment sections were filled with reactions, "That's how you stand your ground, Crockett just made history," and "This is what real leadership looks like." Meanwhile, Maddow's reaction face, eyes wide, caught completely off guard, became an instant meme. Screenshots spread everywhere, with captions mocking her failed attempt to control the exchange. By the end of the night, Crockett's name wasn't just trending, it was dominating headlines worldwide. As the viral moment spread, political commentators were quick to weigh in. Some praised Crockett's composure, calling it a masterclass in staying calm under fire. Others admitted they had never seen Maddow so rattled on live television. Cable networks replayed the clip on loop, dissecting every second. Analysts noted how Crockett's delivery, measured, precise, and unshaken, contrasted perfectly with Maddow's rising frustration. It wasn't just what Crockett said, but how she said it. Late-night hosts joined the frenzy too. One played the clip side by side with dramatic sound effects, making the audience laugh at Maddow's stunned expression. Another quipped, "That's the look of someone who didn't read the fine print before starting an argument." What was supposed to be Maddow's strong debate moment had backfired spectacularly, and now it was fueling Crockett's rise as a viral political star. By the following morning, Jasmine Crockett woke up to find her phone buzzing non-stop. Messages, tags, and interview requests poured in. Friends and colleagues congratulated her, while journalists scrambled to get her on their shows. When asked about the viral moment, Crockett kept her tone consistent, calm and confident. "I wasn't trying to go viral," she told one outlet. "I was simply telling the truth. If the truth makes waves, then so be it." Her response only fueled the admiration online. Supporters praised her authenticity, saying she didn't chase headlines, she created them naturally by refusing to be intimidated. Meanwhile, Maddow remained quiet. Her network released no statement, and she avoided addressing the clash directly on her next broadcast. But the silence spoke louder than words. Crockett's single line had become more than just a clapback, it was now a symbol of holding one's ground under pressure. It didn't take long for political figures across the spectrum to react. Allies of Jasmine Crockett celebrated the moment as proof of her rising influence. One congressman tweeted, "That's the kind of strength we need on the front lines, calm, steady, and sharp." Even some of her rivals couldn't help but acknowledge what happened. A well-known commentator admitted on air, "Love her or hate her, Crockett owned that exchange. Maddow never saw it coming." Within hours, party leaders were being asked for their take. Some tried to brush it off as just TV drama, but others recognized the reality: Crockett's profile had skyrocketed overnight. What stood out most was the reaction from younger voters. Many shared the clip with captions like, "This is why I'm paying attention now," or "Finally, someone who doesn't fold under pressure." Crockett's moment had become bigger than Maddow, it was now a political flashpoint with ripple effects across the country. As the days passed, the clip didn't fade, it grew. Major newspapers and magazines ran features about Jasmine Crockett's sudden rise. Headlines called her the new face of fearless politics and the woman who stood her ground on live TV. Reporters highlighted her background, her record, and her ability to connect with people beyond political lines. Analysts pointed out that while many politicians rely on rehearsed talking points, Crockett's strength came from authenticity. Television networks replayed the exchange in highlight reels, comparing it to other famous political clapbacks in history. Commentators marveled at how one line, delivered with calm precision, had shifted the conversation nationwide. Even late-night comedians kept the moment alive, joking that Maddow's stunned silence should win Best Performance in a Political Drama. The more the media covered it, the clearer it became, Crockett's viral moment wasn't just entertainment. It was shaping her public image in a way no campaign ad could ever buy. After days of headlines and endless clips replaying across the internet, Rachel Maddow could no longer avoid the subject. On her next broadcast, she addressed the moment directly. Her tone was firm but noticeably restrained. "Yes, last week's exchange with Representative Crockett got a lot of attention," she admitted. "And while emotions were high, my goal was never to silence her voice, it was to push for clarity." But viewers weren't convinced. The statement came across more like damage control than genuine reflection. Social media erupted again, pointing out that Maddow hadn't apologized or acknowledged why her reaction looked so unhinged in the first place. Meanwhile, Crockett didn't comment at all. She stayed focused on her work, letting the viral clip continue to speak for itself. The contrast between Maddow's defensive explanation and Crockett's calm silence only widened the gap in public perception. In the eyes of millions, one had lost control, while the other had proven she didn't need to raise her voice to win. In the aftermath of Maddow's uneasy explanation, Jasmine Crockett began receiving invitations from nearly every major talk show and news network. Producers knew her name alone now guaranteed ratings. When she finally appeared on a primetime program, she didn't gloat or replay the viral clip. Instead, she shifted the spotlight back to the issues she cared about most. "I don't think the story is about me versus Rachel," she said calmly. "The real story is what the public deserves to hear, truth without the noise." Her words landed just as powerfully as her clapback. Viewers praised her maturity, noting how she refused to be drawn into petty feuds. Instead, she used the viral attention as a platform to speak directly to the people. Clips from her interviews spread almost as fast as the original debate moment. Headlines read, "Crockett turns viral fame into real leadership," and asterisk, "From clapback to clarity, Crockett's rising star." Asterisk. It was clear now, she wasn't just a trending topic. She was becoming a force. By now, Jasmine Crockett's name had moved beyond trending hashtags, it was reshaping political conversations. Her viral moment had caught the attention of party leaders, donors, and even rivals who once dismissed her. Behind closed doors, strategists debated how to handle her growing influence. Some saw her as a fresh, authentic voice who could energize voters. Others worried she had become too powerful, too quickly, and feared she might outshine established figures. Meanwhile, Crockett kept her focus. She didn't chase the noise, she let it work in her favor. Everywhere she went, supporters showed up quoting her viral line. Expose the issue, they'd cheer, turning her words into a rallying cry. Political opponents began avoiding direct confrontations with her on live TV, afraid of becoming the next viral clip. Crockett had shifted the rules of engagement, calm truth had become more dangerous than shouting matches. Her influence was no longer just media buzz. It was real, and it was changing the landscape. The ripple effect didn't stop at home. International media outlets picked up the clip, replaying Crockett's calm but devastating line with subtitles in multiple languages. Commentators abroad praised her as a symbol of composure in an era of noisy politics. Foreign leaders were even asked about the exchange during press conferences. One European official chuckled and said, asterisk, "I think many of us wish we had that kind of poise in our debates." Asterisk, the remark drew laughter, but it also showed how far the moment had traveled. News anchors overseas compared Crockett's rise to other historical political figures who turned one defining exchange into lasting influence. Her clapback had crossed borders, becoming an international talking point. At home, the buzz only intensified. Seeing the world react so strongly made supporters prouder and critics more uneasy. Crockett wasn't just a U.S. story anymore, she was becoming a global political name. Weeks after the exchange, the buzz had not faded, it had evolved. What began as a fiery clash on live television had transformed into a defining chapter in Jasmine Crockett's career. Analysts now referred to her viral line as a turning point. It wasn't just a clapback, it was proof that poise and clarity could triumph over chaos in the political arena. Supporters saw it as the moment she went from a respected figure to a household name. Rachel Maddow, though still a major voice, was now forever tied to the exchange that elevated Crockett. In political history books, their clash would be remembered less as a debate and more as the spark that reshaped Crockett's image into that of a fearless leader. And for Crockett herself? She never claimed the moment as a victory. She simply kept moving forward, turning the attention into momentum, the momentum into influence, and the influence into lasting change. Her words still echoed, "I'm not dodging the issue. I'm exposing it." A single sentence that went viral, and cemented her legacy. Months later, the viral moment was no longer just a trending clip, it had become part of political culture. Commentators replayed it during year-end reviews, calling it the defining debate exchange of the year. College students quoted it in classrooms, comedians still used it in sketches, and aspiring politicians studied Crockett's composure as a blueprint for how to win without shouting. Crockett's rise was undeniable. Invitations to keynote events poured in, and her name began circulating in discussions about higher office. The viral exchange hadn't just boosted her, it had elevated her to a new league entirely. As one journalist put it, Maddow lost her cool. Crockett gained her crown. And just like that, what started as a heated moment on live TV turned into the spark that launched Jasmine Crockett into history, forever remembered as the woman whose clapback shook the political world and never stopped echoing. Dissecting every second. Analysts noted how Crockett's delivery, measured, precise, and unshaken, contrasted perfectly with Maddow's rising frustration. It wasn't just what Crockett said, but how she said it. Late-night hosts joined the frenzy too. One played the clip side by side with dramatic sound effects, making the audience laugh at Maddow's stunned expression. Another quipped, "That's the look of someone who didn't read the fine print before starting an argument." What was supposed to be Maddow's strong debate moment had backfired spectacularly, and now it was fueling Crockett's rise as a viral political star. By the following morning, Jasmine Crockett woke up to find her phone buzzing non-stop. Messages, tags, and interview requests poured in. Friends and colleagues congratulated her, while journalists scrambled to get her on their shows. When asked about the viral moment, Crockett kept her tone consistent, calm and confident. "I wasn't trying to go viral," she told one outlet. "I was simply telling the truth. If the truth makes waves, then so be it." Her response only fueled the admiration online. Supporters praised her authenticity, saying she didn't chase headlines, she created them naturally by refusing to be intimidated. Meanwhile, Maddow remained quiet. Her network released no statement, and she avoided addressing the clash directly on her next broadcast. But the silence spoke louder than words. Crockett's single line had become more than just a clapback, it was now a symbol of holding one's ground under pressure. It didn't take long for political figures across the spectrum to react. Allies of Jasmine